Interested with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, hey there, YouTube. Welcome to tonight's live session. We're going to talk about self-deportation. What is it and how does it work? Because the government has shown us today how this will work. So we've got to talk about it. Guys, I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide. This week, I will be doing live sessions each night. This is my challenge for the week. I'll be live before you guys at 8:30 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. We have a lot to cover with immigration. So come on in and say hello and say freedom now. It's great to have you guys with me tonight. Thank you, Instagram, for being here. Thank you, McBean Immigration TV and Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. It's so nice to have you. Double tap the screen and say hello. Hello, hello. I was live earlier today with a Q&A session, and this session is going to pick up on where we left off today. We're going to talk about self-deporting because the government has laid it all out for us. Okay, so double tap the screen, say hello, and let me know how you're feeling tonight about this news. Friends, if the audio is great on your end, just let me know. Audio is great, crystal clear. You could hear me loud and clear where you're located. Thank you for being here tonight. So friends, just so you know, this week, tomorrow, which is Tuesday, okay? Tuesday, I have a video that we're going to publish. It's ready to go. And it's called Self-Deporting, Questions to Ask Before You Leave, Before Leaving. Okay, self-deporting. Questions to ask before leaving. All right. So check out tomorrow's YouTube video on McBean Immigration TV about very important questions you need to ask yourself, okay, before you leave the United States. This session is to educate you. This is for people who want to learn about what the government rolled out today and how it works. So if you'd like to see what the rest of the folks are going to be looking at on McBean Immigration TV, just jump over to YouTube right now. Also, guys, if you have not yet seen DHS's press release today that announced what they are calling a historic announcement, right? Historic travel assistance and stipend for voluntary self-deportation. Go read that press release for yourself. And in that press release, you're going to see that they provided the rationale for this self-deportation $1,000 plus. It's more than $1,000. We'll get into it momentarily. They've provided the rationale for this. Why are they doing this? Because it's cheaper to give you $1,000 rather than spending $17,000 to arrest, detain, and deport an individual. That's what they've said. And so far, one person, type in one in all caps, one, one person they've announced in this press release has utilized this travel assistance and has already returned to Honduras. That's what the press release says. The press release also says that more individuals are quote unquote lined up for assistance this week and next week. We don't know the numbers. I don't see it here in the press release. So you could jump over to dhs.gov/news to read this press release. Now, what I'm going to be pulling up tonight that I didn't share earlier today on YouTube is actually the 10 steps to this process that the government has rolled out. 10 steps. Okay. Now, let's go into it. Let me jump back up here. 10 steps to this process. I think the number one question on everyone's mind, let me just answer that one real quickly. When am I going to get that money? When will I get the $1,000, right? When? If you make the decision to follow these 10 steps, when will you get this $1,000? After you've left. Okay, no surprise there. After you can confirm that you are back in your home country through that app, CBP Home app. So you'll get that money after you've left the United States. Go figure. All right, so let's get into these 10 steps. The website that I'm looking at currently is dhs.gov/CBP home. Okay, that's where this is. The information will be shared tonight. It's from the government website. Again, this is for your information only for those who would like to be educated on this process. The government says here that it will provide financial and travel as document assistance to those in need. There's some different components to this process. Financial and travel assistance is something that you would have to apply for, and they will go through a little review period to see whether you're eligible for this. And they could help you purchase a ticket to leave the United States, as well as help to coordinate you get in your passport or travel document that you're going to need to make this departure. They're going to help you to figure all of those things out. Okay. Then there's also the $1,000 stipend that they will provide to you after you confirm that you've left the United States. All right. Now, they say on this website that they will deprioritize individuals for detention and removal by ICE if they go through this process. It says here, once aliens submit their intent to depart through the CBP Home app and pass through various vetting, they will be temporarily deprioritized by ICE for detention or enforcement action before their scheduled departure, if they're self-funded, or on their allotted flight or transport if assistance is needed. So I'm going to be talking about those who will be seeking the travel assistance, in addition to those who will be self-funding their own departure from the United States. Now, what did I want to say here about that? The vetting, okay? The vetting part of this, friends, they're not going to provide assistance, so to speak, to individuals who they consider criminal aliens, okay? So that's what they mean by the vetting. They're going to look at your records to make sure that you're not a criminal alien, because they only want to deprioritize individuals for this process who are not who do not have a criminal record, apparently. All right. Now let's go back to this. Now, they say here on the website that you will leave safely and travel normally in dignity and all of that. The CBP Home program lets eligible aliens return home as regular travelers without arrest, detention, or restraints. It's a safe, orderly, alternative that provides assistance and flexibility, not fear. Go figure, not fear, right? This is the first time I'm seeing this, not fear. They're all about fear. Now, here are the 10 steps to this process. 10 steps to this process. Here's the timeline. The first step is download the CBP Home app. Step 2, sign into it's called login.gov. Sign in online. Then number 3, you select your departing traveler, the name, whoever the individual is. Yes, I am speaking tonight about the government process that they've put in place, that they've rolled out for individuals to self-deport. But again, you should watch tomorrow's YouTube video about this questions you need to ask yourself before self-deporting. All right, questions that you need to ask yourself. Number 4, select your intent to depart. Number 5, take a photo of yourself. Number 6, complete biographical information about yourself. Number 7, answer questions about financial and passport needs. This is where they're going to do a little bit of the vetting process to determine whether yours is one that they should purchase a ticket for, okay, and help you with your passport. Number 8, submit your answers and such to CBP Home. Then number 9, you'll receive some sort of confirmation. And then the final step, number 10, it's going to answer the question, is assistance required? Yes or no. For those who do not need the assistance, they will have to depart the United States on their own. They will be granted more time. We're going to get into all of that momentarily. But those who require assistance, they're going to be contacted by someone to provide some travel support to you. Okay. So those are the 10 steps. What do you guys think so far? Okay. Now, after there's more to it than that, okay? They have these FAQs on the website, and I'm going to go through the question about let's see, who is eligible for this? I think that's what the question says. Yes, who qualifies for these incentives? They are looking at this, friends, as like an incentive to leave the United States. Why? What are the incentives? The incentives are based on deprioritize. And so the idea here, well, they want you to believe that you're all a priority, which is impossible, right? So they first of all want you to think you're a priority. And by going through this process, they're going to deprioritize you. Okay, that's the thinking here. Now, let's get into what these incentives are. All right. If you're enjoying tonight's live session, let me know that you're enjoying this and double tap the screen on TikTok. Let's go. Okay, so hold on a second. Who qualifies? Okay, so who qualifies for these incentives? Quote unquote. Okay, quote unquote. Um, Non-criminal aliens, as I've mentioned before. Who qualifies? I'm sorry. Who qualifies? Non-criminal aliens. They say here illegally in the United States who had who had an encounter with CBP at either a port of entry or between ports of entry. And then the big category of folks who they're really targeting are those who entered under one of the Biden parole programs. Categorical parolees whose legal presence in the United States has expired or will soon to expire, and aliens must be physically present in the United States at the time of submitting this intent to depart. Okay, so you can't go outside of the United States and then try to follow these steps according to them. Now, let's go down to what are the benefits? They say benefits, not my words, their words, benefits of participating in this process. Number one, $1,000 stipends. I've already seen someone here on YouTube that said, well, $1,000 is not enough. $1,000 stipend, taxpayer dollars. Okay, your dollars, my dollars, taxpayer dollars. The stipend will be provided upon confirmation through the app that return has been completed. Now, how many of you trust? I just I have to remember where I'm at right now, but come on. So they are going to pay you after you leave, they say. Now, the next part of this is financial and travel document assistance for those in need. Again, you would have to register for this voluntary self-departure through the app, and you're going to, indicate that you're going to seek some financial assistance from them. And if eligible, the U.S. government, taxpayers will assist in booking tickets and with obtaining necessary travel documentation. Aliens requesting assistance will have a timely departure arrangement facilitated for them. They're estimating that within 21 days of approval, you will get some sort of assistance from them. Aliens in need of assistance should take extra care to ensure they provide accurate contact information and are responsive to outreach attempts. So what they're saying here is when you're going through this process on the app and you've shared your information with them, um, you've Instagram. I'm back. You should hear something now. It's this mic that I'm wearing. Okay. So, let's keep going. I'm back on Instagram, okay? All right. Um, okay, let's get going. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. It happens, okay? Just chill out a little bit. You know that I'm live on everywhere else, okay? All right. So, here we go. Here we go. TikTok, TikTok, you're good, right? Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, TikTok. And just jump over to yeah. So for those of you on Instagram who could not hear me for the last 5 minutes, certainly you could sorry about that, but it looks like the mic it failed me, okay? So just watch the live session on the replay on YouTube. Okay. So now let's keep going, guys. We're talking about the fact that they're saying that within 21 days of you going through this process, they're going to provide some assistance to you. And also, you should be responsive to them because they're going to try to reach you and they're going to want to get in touch with you. Okay. Then they say here extended period to depart for those who are self funded. If you decide, I'm just going to leave on my own, I'm going to just fund my own departure. They're saying here that they're going to give you time to wrap up your work, school, and personal matters and organize your return in an orderly and lawful way. Okay. Self-funded travelers can depart in a timely manner on their own terms, during which they will be deprioritized. Here's the promise again. They're going to deprioritize you for detention and removal. And then they say here, leaving voluntarily may improve future immigration options. Hmm. Now, if you watched today's live session on YouTube, you heard me say that there has been no change of policy and no change of law that says anything to the effect that if you use the CBP home process, that at the US Embassy, when you're trying to return to the United States, they're going to treat you favorably or something different is going to happen for you. But you will still, most of you will still trigger the 10-year bar unless you are one of the parolees and you're leaving right away at the end of your parole term and you had not accrued any unlawful presence in the United States. In those instances, that's different. You can return to the United States in another lawful process, provided that you're eligible for it, of course. But most everyone else, they're going to trigger a 10-year ban to return into the United States. And there is no policy change yet that says, or a law change that says that you can come back because of this process. Okay. So educate yourself about this before you depart. And then finally, they say here that another reason why you should do this again is because they're going to deprioritize you for detention and removal. All right. Now, this is on their website, okay? 10-step process and information about how this is going to work. Your decision, okay? It's your decision. Now, I will stick around for a few minutes to answer some questions, okay? Let's go with some of the questions before I jump off. This information, again, guys, is on DHS's website. I'll probably put the link to this website after this live session when I roll out the live session to you guys again. All right. Now, tell me, what do you think? So no 601A is needed for this process. This is completely different from a 601A process. The 601A provisional waiver allows individuals here in the United States who are getting a green card, so to speak, being filed for by, let's say, a relative, for instance, who have unlawful presence on their record and they're not able to adjust their status. It allows you to go back to the U.S. Embassy for an interview. That's different from this process, which says I'm finished with the United States for a period of time or however long I want to leave, it could be permanently, and I'm going to leave on my own voluntarily. I'm leaving the United States. Okay? That's what this does. That's what this is all about. Okay? That is what this is all about. Um, Can someone who has permanent residency, who wants to travel to his home country return after a couple of days? Yes, most green card holders can travel without any problems. Uh, I have not seen any movement on the Dignity Act. No, we do not have an office in Florida, but we do work virtually with clients there. Someone says, I would prefer to self-deport than to have ICE hunt me down and lock me up in detention until they deport you. Okay. That's what this is. They've rolled this out for someone precisely like you. So be sure to go visit that website if you decide that you're going to walk through those 10 steps. Okay. Does self-deporting dismiss or forgive an illegal entry? No, it does not. This goes back again to you might not have heard because there was no sound for 5 minutes on Instagram, but earlier I said that there has not been any law change or policy change that supports this. Okay, that says, well, if you leave after being let's say you've been in the United States illegally for the last 5 years, and then you leave and you trigger that 10-year bar, there's nothing in place right now that says if you depart through this particular process, that the US Embassy is going to say, oh, she departed on her own and received that $1,000 stipend through this process. Let's reward her by forgetting about the illegal entry or forgetting about the 10-year ban or forget about any violations that are on her record. There's nothing here, okay, that I've seen quite yet that supports that. That's why the government says here that leaving voluntarily may improve future immigration options. May. Okay? May. Also, there was a time there a few weeks ago, President Trump said that when he broke the news about this, you guys remember he broke the news about the fact that we're going to give help to pay some people to leave the United States. Remember he said that? He said the good ones, we're going to help them to come back in. Well, I'd like to know who the good ones are. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Um, So self-deporting in this manner doesn't forgive of immigration violations. Let's go, guys. Yeah, that would help, right? What's her name? Jess. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's see. Let's see. What other questions do you have about this process that I know about so far based on all of the new stuff that's out here on the government's website? Do you handle removal orders? Yes, Francis, we do. We have a lot of good success stories on our website, mcbeanlaw.com/success, that covers the work that we've done to help clients in removal who are no longer in removal. Guys on TikTok, you know that I don't like the mustache and the hat. Thank you. However, I don't like the mustache and the hat. Okay. Um, let's keep going. Green card holders are guests now. That's right. I've spoken about that in a video that the USCIS is every day, and even today, I have a little video about today's tweet. They did call green card holders last week guess. You're just a guest, so you've got to behave yourself. Guess today. What they said was even more inflammatory, I thought, because they say that green cards and visas will be revoked for individuals who overstay their time permitted in the United States. There are what, over 4 million, I think, people who have overstayed a visa here in the United States. Many people have since gotten a green card and, of course, US citizenship. So by USCIS saying things like, oh, if you've overstayed your visa or if you've worked without authorization, which they also said in that tweet today, then, we're going to revoke your visa. But the law around revocation doesn't work that way. So the tweet was completely flawed. But this is where USCIS is currently. They are really more of a law enforcement agency than anything else. Okay. Um, Someone says, I have asked to reschedule an interview from Colorado to New York, and I haven't heard anything um, back for 8 months now. You can contact our office to see if there's anything that we can do along those lines to assist you. I have a 2-year green card expiring next year, and I'm going through a divorce. There is a way for some people who are divorced to be able to get the 10-year green card on your own. You could contact us for that discussion if you'd like. Let's see. Let's keep going. Again, guys, this big push with self-deporting, the big push is for those with parole. Could be anybody, obviously, here in the United States who makes the decision, I'm gonna leave, of course. But it looks like they are really, really pushing for those who entered through the Biden parole programs to leave the United States and be deprioritized um, for detention and removal. Just so you guys know, there is a big push, and we've talked about this before live back in January when I covered the executive orders, and after that when I covered various memos that the Department of Justice issued related to how they are going to treat people who have been in the United States for less than 2 years. They're going to try to really do fast track expedited deportations. And I have a video out there called Fast Track Deportations. That's the thumbnail title. You could look for that, Fast Track Deportations, in which I break it down for you that is their intent. And now to further cement their intent to do expedited removal, President Trump when was it, yesterday on Meet the Press, and I think before that too, just completely um, balked at the idea of immigrants going through the legal process of a hearing and due process. He said, how can we give all these people a hearing? I just don't think that's right. They should not get a hearing. All these millions of people, we're going to have trials, he said, trials for all of these people. So the intent there and the mindset there is expedited removal, fast track deportation. Forget the court system, forget the judges, forget the lawyers, forget everyone, just fast track deportation. And so that's the true motivation and intent, and it's in those memos that I've discussed with you guys. So this self-deportation process now of $1,000 or plus some financial assistance to buy you a plane ticket and to help you get your passport and things in order, to me that shows desperation, number one, on the side of the government to remove people because they're encountering these roadblocks called due process and the law. And then number two, it just again, there is no number two. It's just one. Desperation. That's it. They're desperate because it's hard to deport so many people. Hard. Very, very difficult. All right. Very, very difficult. But now they're going to get a lot of money from Congress very soon. $88 billion was on the table last week at a House Judiciary Committee hearing, which we've talked about as well. That would provide a significant increase to immigration enforcement activities. So things will, obviously pick up with more dollars. um, but over time, all right? Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Thank you. Rosalinda says, thank you for the time you're taking out of what you're doing. Very much appreciated. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for that. They were trying to crucify me on Instagram, Rosa, earlier when they couldn't hear, they were freaking out. And deep apologies to you guys. My technology failed me. So I had to read that. Thanks. Okay, let's keep going, guys. What other questions do you have for me? Let's see. Um, what can let's see, let's go down here. Someone says, I submitted my I-751 with a battery waiver on March 20th, not too long ago. Okay. Through my attorney. Great, but I haven't received a receipt yet. It's been 6 weeks. Is that relatively normal? So we have been publishing recently our process and timelines related to many different types of cases that we work on at McBean Law. I think you're still on track. I don't know specifically what the timeline is on receipts coming in because, to be honest with you, I really don't track that. But some members of our team have been putting it out there for you guys on social media so that you could see those receipts. I would say take a look at our Instagram page because we posted on the I-751 not too long ago. But right now, I'm only thinking about these big, massive changes with policy tonight. But that resource is on our website. I'm sorry, on our social media for you to check out. Okay. Um, I overstayed my visa years ago. Now I'm doing removal of conditions, I-751. Am I going to be deported? So you should be fine. I am still looking into what I spoke with you guys briefly about, maybe on one of these live sessions, that something's going on with I-751, certain I-751 petitions. We're seeing that for some people, they have been NTA'd, received a notice to appear in immigration court recently. You'll hear from me in another video later this week, another unscripted video that USCIS last week shared their 100 days accomplishments, the first 100 days under Trump. And they shared some data that was really disturbing, including the fact that over 4,000 records were turned over to ICE. Involving people with with what they're calling serious criminal records. And then they've turned over, what was it, over 300 people to ICE at the field office. They set them up during interviews. Over 300 people were arrested at the field offices. That's what they've said, guys. You'll hear more about this in a video that is coming out later this week, unscripted for you, about the USCIS data and their law enforcement activities. So some I-751 folks have been NTA'd. I don't think you should be afraid. You should be fine. A regular, 751 filing jointly with a spouse or even as a waiver should be fine. I'm still investigating this, okay? Someone says I have a check-in with ICE next month. I'm really concerned. I overstayed my visa and I have a final deportation order as well. Veronica says, Veronica, you could speak one-on-one with us about this. I don't know which ICE field office you're checking in with, because to be honest with you, many others have been checking in with ICE and they just do it and it's okay. For some locations, it's an electronic check-in process. There's not really there's not a human being that you have to go sit and talk to like a probation officer for some locations. Okay. So that takes the edge off. Good to see. I see some friendly people join and people I know personally. Whew, Thank you for being here on Instagram with me tonight. It was rough tonight on Instagram. Tomorrow will be better with the audio, okay? Good to see some familiar faces. Thank you for being here tonight. Now let's see. Let's keep going with a few more of your questions before I sign off tonight. Are we safe to leave and go to our home and go get a visa? Someone is asking. Speak with an attorney before you leave the United States to make sure that everything is covered and that you'll be successful and be able to return into the United States. What about VAWA applications? I have not heard anything involving VAWA yet. There has not been anything major with VAWA under the Biden administration towards the end of 2024. VAWA policies changed in that they are calling in some VAWA applicants for interviews, particularly if they suspect fraud in your filing. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, guys. Veronica says that she has a T visa pending. That's great. Good for you. That's great. I really wish you well on that T visa filing, okay? Binti, it's good to see you. Thank you for that positive energy. Green card holder, is it safe to file for citizenship with everything that's going on? It could very well be safe for you to file for citizenship. Now is a good time for citizenship to free yourself from immigration, okay? All right. Let's see what if you're now joining, you're going to want to watch earlier. You're going to want to watch the replay because I covered the 10-step process of deportation that the government laid out today on DHS's website, dhs.gov/CBP home. It's all there. The $1,000 stipend that you will receive after you leave, they say. And then there's travel assistance, the buying a plane ticket for you, helping you coordinate your travel and all of that. You just have to be incredibly available to them so that when they do their follow-ups, they can reach you. And then if you decide that you're going to just leave on your own and fund your own departure, they're going to give you extra time to do so and wrap up your affairs, they say, before you leave the United States. Let's see. Illegal entry, adjustment of status is only permitted in very limited circumstances for victims of asylum applicants, victims of domestic violence. Those who receive parole can adjust their status. Okay. For questions about registration, just speak with one-on-one with your attorney about that. But definitely go to USCIS's website about who should register. They have a really good tool on their website that will tell you whether you've already registered or whether you need to register. If you came through the system using a visa application process and you obtained a visa to come to America, you've already registered. But if you have any questions or doubts about it, check out their tool online and their information and speak further with an attorney if you have any further questions regarding registration. All right. It takes a VAWA applicant 3 years to get a green card. 3 years. Okay. Let's see. Let's go down. 601A pending. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of 601A questions. Guys, do not get the 601A process confused by this self-deporting process here. Don't get it confused, okay? No, U visa. I don't have any updates tonight on the U visa process. Best question of the night, okay? Best question. Best question of the night. It's coming from YouTube, McBean Immigration TV. After people leave, how And where will they be contacted to get that money? I wondered the same thing. I haven't seen the answer yet, but I'll see whether through LinkedIn, those who I'm following, um, other lawyers, whether they have an answer to that. I just haven't dived deep enough to see that. I don't know how you would, how, you know, are you giving them, I don't know, bank account information, address? How are we going to wire money to Europe, to Africa, to Asia? Where, how? I don't know. But I'm so curious how that one person in Honduras has gotten his or her money, because the government said it worked. That person flew to Chicago and then to Honduras. Has the money arrived yet in their bank accounts? That I don't know. This is like to me, this is like a joke in some ways. I'm sorry to say that publicly, but I will. I feel that way. One day, I really think we're gonna say to each other, thousands of us, each other, remember when we were talking about that idea? We're gonna definitely say, remember when? Do you remember that other? Oh, remember the gold card? Remember you remember the app? We're gonna say that, guys. Just wait and see. Guys, I have to jump off. I will be back before you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. live every night, 8:30 this week, to cover a lot of different topics related to immigration. There's a lot of changes, a lot going on. So be sure to follow Instagram. I promise it'll be much better tomorrow. So stick around and join me tomorrow. And through Friday, we're going to be together. Guys, thanks so much for being with me tonight. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.